All right, I'm Smitty, and today we're taking a look at the Umarex Strike Force. This is totally new for 2024. This is Umarex's latest BB repeater, and it's the successor to the highly acclaimed Umarex Steel Force, which was first released in 2012, wildly popular with air gunners and collectors everywhere until it was retired in 2017. This gun is the next evolution in that platform. Now, before we continue the product review, I do want to take a moment to give a big shout out and thank you to the owners and the leadership of Black Ops Airsoft and Paintball in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They were kind enough to allow me to use their facilities to film these product reviews. Black Ops Airsoft and Paintball is known the nation over as one of the premier airsoft and paintball dealers and parks in this country. They have locations here at Fayetteville, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They're opening a location in Conway, 120-acre park down there. They're going to have a massive throw shot there. They also have a location up in Washington State. BlackOpsPaintball.org. Check them out. All right, so here we have the Umarex Strike Force. Let's take a look at the packaging. The packaging states this gun shoots 460 feet per second using two 12-gram CO2 cartridges in the magazine. That velocity is greater than some of its competitors, including the Crosman DPMS SBR, Crosman R1, the Crosman AK1. Now keep in mind that velocity is based on the internal operating temperature of those two 12-gram CO2 cartridges, the pressure of those cartridges, as well as the external operating temperature. It's 90 degrees out here today in Fayetteville, and I'm certain we can achieve optimum operating velocity with that gun. Anytime the temperature drops to 70 degrees or lower, it negatively affects the operating pressure of the CO2 cartridges, causing both the range and the velocity of the rounds to drop significantly, so keep that in mind. It also states it shoots 1,400 rounds per minute in full auto. One of the things I'll tell you about this gun is the first one I purchased, I picked up the first week in August down at Academy Sports and Outdoors in Florence, South Carolina. I wasn't even aware the store had them. They weren't available on their website. It's still not on their website or any other retailer's website that I found other than Umarex. One of the sales members at the gun bar told me they had gotten a shipment of these in on a recent truck. I think they had 6 or 8 units altogether. I purchased one and had some major quality control issues with that gun. First thing that occurred is I discovered that the barrel was warped. Now, I don't know if it was the outer barrel and the inner barrel or just the outer barrel, but every round was going off at the 9 o'clock position. It could be that the barrel wasn't assembled properly, or it could be that it was just warped. I didn't disassemble the gun to find out. I fired maybe 10 or 12 rounds when I discovered that, and then the gun stopped cycling altogether, so I thought I had a jam. I removed the magazine, ran a cleaning rod through the gun, found no jam, removed the cleaning rod, disassembled the upper and lower, removed the bolt. I found nothing to impede the cycle and function of that gun, so I knew it had major quality control issues going on. I reached out yesterday to a member of management of the store. I drove down there. They agreed to do an exchange on it. They have 1 unit left in the store. So I asked the member of management, could I open the box and inspect the barrel? She agreed to allow me to do that. I saw that the barrel wasn't warped, but I handed it off to a team member at the gun bar and asked for their opinion as well. They inspected it. They also concurred that the barrel wasn't warped, so I walked out of the door with it. So here we go. Now, this gun is all polymer construction, from the 4-position buttstock to the pistol grip that's molded into the lower, the upper receiver, your 9-inch handguard, your 10-inch outer barrel, all polymer construction. A lot of manufacturers, including Umarex, do this as a cost-saving measure. Using high-strength polymers allows them to cut costs in the manufacturing process, which translates to a lower cost to the end user. The issue is, a lot of time during the manufacturing process, when the plastic's being poured into the mold, plastic tends to flex, particularly when it's cooling. So as it's being heated, you know, it's liquid going into the mold cools, and a lot of times when it's cooling, that plastic flexes and it warps. And if you don't have someone there who knows what to look for and the appropriate quality control measures haven't put in place, you'll get a gun like I got, where you've got an issue where you've got a warped barrel. You can also have someone that's not paying attention when they are on the assembly line, and they can put the barrel on incorrectly or not have it positioned correctly, and the rounds are going to be off. This particular gun I haven't fired, haven't taken out of the box, so let's open it up, show you guys what's on the inside. First thing you're going to find is plastic It's got your owner's manual in it. You got some warning sheets in here and some stuff about the warranty on this gun. On the inside, you've got the gun itself, you've got the magazine, you've got a total of 3 interchangeable back straps. One is already on the pistol grip, you've got 2 here, and then you've got an Allen key for the magazine. Now let's talk about the magazine real quick. Totally different design for those of you that use the Crossman air guns like the DPMS SBR and the R1. You still have an exposed follower here. This magazine holds 30 rounds, the Crossman guns hold 25. Different feed system here. On the base plate, you have a push button. You push that, slide the base plate forward. And then your cylinder caps are here for your 2 12-gram CO2 cartridges. You want to screw those out. Just like on the Crossman guns, you want to put this 12-gram CO2 cartridge in first, tighten it, then put the second one in. I will tell you guys, with these caps, make sure you don't cross thread them. You want to set it even. The top of the magazine, use your hex wrench to level it out and allow it to catch those threads correctly. Screw it down and tighten it. Then to replace your base plate, just want to slide it on in reverse, snaps in place, it's good to go. Here's your gun. You've got your 4-position collapsible buttstock. Fully collapsed, this gun is 27 inches in length. Fully extended is 30.25 inches in length. You've got your flip up front and rear sights. They're push button activated. You've got a push button here, push button here. They do have fiber optics on them. These also have the speed sights on the top of them, so you can use it with the sights down for quick target acquisition. You've got your 9-inch M-LOK handguard here. You've got quick detach points for QD swivels here, here, and here on the buttstock. I really don't like this stock. It's real flimsy. I do plan on switching this out. You can see you've got an enhanced trigger guard here. You've got your bolt release, fire selector here. On this side, anti-fire selector, mag release, charging handle. Pull that back, expose your bolt, push the bolt catch in. When you insert the magazine, you have to force it in. This isn't like one of the Crossman guns where it drops free. Physically force it in, hit your bolt release, good to go. When you hit your mag release, you have to pull it out with force. It's not going to drop free on its own. So that's something to be aware of with this gun. Full length pick rail on top, all polymer. You do have 2 captive takedown pins. You can see the front one here, the rear one here. Get that to come out. Pull your charging handle. And it looks like the outer part of the bolt doesn't want to come out. You guys can see that internally there. This is the inner bolt mechanism that always faces forward. This large part's always on the bottom. Goes back in like that. This captive takedown pin on the front, you want to take it out, it comes completely out, so be cautious of that. Make sure it slides back in and is secure in place. So now what we're going to do is we're going to load up the magazine. We're going to test the accuracy and range of the Umarex Strike Force. Okay, so you guys can see I've got a target right here stapled to that tree. And what we're going to do is we're going to test the Umarex Strike Force at varying distances. We're going to start out at 7 yards, which is 21 feet, and work our way back. See just how accurate and reliable this gun is. So here's the target from 7 yards. Here it is a 3-shot string, all right at the 5 o'clock position. This was my first a couple of shots, I had some of the same issues with the gun cycling as I had with the first one. Fired a couple rounds, stopped, removed the magazine, reinserted it, got it back in the battery. But that's about right at the 2-inch group, 7 yards. Okay, so here's the target. Remember, this was my first string, and then it had malfunctioned. These 3 shots were from 7 yards out, or 21 feet. So 1, 2, 3 rounds from 30 feet back. So this is a really wide spread with this gun. And again, I don't know if the wind's playing an issue in this, or if the gun is just that inaccurate. That's at 30 feet. So I'm going to back up to 50 feet. We're going to do another string, and if the groups are still spreading like this, I'm going to put a holographic sight on the gun and see if we can tighten those groups up. If that doesn't work, then we know that it's a mechanical issue with the gun spreading the BBs that far apart. Okay, so here's the target, and you've got 1, 2, 3. So still like a 5-inch group, and this is really disappointing to me because the first gun that I had before it stopped functioning, I hit a target 173 feet away with that gun, and this is at 50 feet. So again, I don't know if this is a mechanical issue with the gun. It could be the inner barrel's not stabilized properly inside the outer barrel, or if it's the wind throwing the BBs off. I'm not sure. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to switch targets, and I'm going to throw a holographic sight, a EOTech replica from Airsoft gun on here, and we're going to try this target all over again and see if we get any different results. All right, so from 5 yards, 7 yards, and 10 yards, spread straight down. So up close, you've got this group here. So if the barrel was warped, even at point blank distance, it would be throwing my rounds off out here to the 9 o'clock position, and it's not doing that. So that tells me it's got to be another issue. It could be when the BBs are feeding into the feed tube and the gas is released, that they're wobbling as they transit the barrel, and as they exit the barrel, they're being thrown off by the wind. That's one possibility. Another possibility could be inconsistent gas pressure from the CO2. When I loaded a magazine to begin with, one of the CO2 cartridges just blew. So it could be improper seal there, loss of pressure affecting the accuracy of the BBs as they're being fed and traversing from the chamber down the barrel. Or it could just be the wind, or a combination of all three. I just don't know at this point. Okay, so right off of the bat, I've got a bad seal in the magazine. One of the rubber O-rings in the valve for 12 gram CO2 cartridge blew. I lost 2 cartridges. They dumped their gas as soon as they were inserted. I've only got one good 12 gram CO2 cartridge. So what I'm going to do now is attempt to demonstrate full auto on one cartridge. I don't know what velocity I'm going to get, so I'm going to move in closer to the target, and we'll see what kind of spread we get with full auto fire. Okay, so here's the target, and you can see pretty much an 8-inch spread all across the target on full auto. That's with a single 12 gram CO2 cartridge, so the gun still function. The first time I tested this, I had some rounds that come up high up here on the tree, and you can see there. The second time, they were more concentric as being on paper. All right, so we've taken a look at the features and specifications on the Umarex Strike Force. We've tested the accuracy and range of the gun in spite of it blowing a seal in the magazine. We've even tested it on full auto with a single 12-gram CO2 cartridge. Overall, I have to tell you guys, I'm extremely disappointed in this gun. This is the second one I've had, and both of them have had similar issues, particularly with the seals blowing. This gun also stopped cycling with the bolt closed. I don't know why. Removed the magazine, racked the slide, reinserted the magazine, gun continued to run. Those issues happened with the first one, except it wouldn't continue to run. Both guns blew seals in the magazines. That shouldn't be happening with brand new air guns that are CO2 operated. I don't know if they put some sort of adhesive on those rubber gaskets or not when they insert them, or if they just weren't inserted properly. I couldn't tell you. I can tell you the one that's in this magazine is torn in half. It blew two 12-gram CO2 cartridges, dumped them as soon as I inserted them. In spite of that, it still runs. So that's a good thing. It still operates off of a single 12-gram CO2 cartridge. I wouldn't recommend using it that way as I've tested it, but it still ran. So something about the gun works. As far as the accuracy, it is wildly inaccurate. With the Crossman R1, I could get 3.5 and 4-inch groups at 120 feet with that gun. Really, really tight, consistent groups, even in full auto. You can't do that with this gun. I went as far as 50 feet back from the target, and you guys can see that it's all over the paper. The first string that I fired in full auto, they were racing up the tree and hitting the tree bark above the target, and that's an 8-inch target. The second magazine that I dumped in full auto, they were all on paper. It was a better group. So there's a lot of questions that I have for Umarex as to why these quality control issues exist right out of the box with this gun. My next question is, what are you going to do to fix it? Is Academy Sports and Outdoors going to refund me my money because this product fails to work? Are they going to exchange it? Am I stuck with it? If I'm stuck with it, is Umarex going to make it right? As a consumer, the end user, you shouldn't have those questions. You shouldn't have those issues right out of the box. So unfortunately, I can't sign off on this gun. I certainly can't recommend it to anyone. Not until we get some answers from Umarex. So there you have the Umarex Strike Force.